What's up? It's your boy Dynast. At the end of this video, make sure you go to www.dynastymir.com. Check out our indigenous, African art, jewelry, accessories, and clothing. Also, make sure you go to searchforhuru.com. Contribute, donate towards our documentary. Also, learn more about the documentary there on the site. And last but not least, go to amazon.com. Please purchase a book. Check them out. Made them affordable, so buy one. Wanted to shoot this video today. Basically, I think there's a misconception amongst Africans who immigrate to this country who believe that since they're African, and I say that in quotation marks, and I'll get into the reason why, probably in another video, that they're exempt of the same bullshit that Black Americans face. I think there are a lot of Africans that for some reason think that if a race soldier or a police officer who's posing, or a race soldier who's posing as a police officer, or any races in general, if they see them walking down the street, that they're gonna know, oh, you know what, that's not a Black American, that's a Nigerian, or that's a Ghanaian, or that's a Senegalese. Like, they bought into that lie. Not knowing, or even knowing, that if you walked up to a racist and said, hey, do you know where Senegal is or do you know where Ghana is? They probably wouldn't know the difference. There's no difference. All my African friends that have immigrated to this country that are, second generation, first generation, whatnot. A racist does not know the difference between an African and a Black American. And the reason why I want to say that is I want to get into the, there's a shooting. First of all, I want to talk about the shooting of, this was back in 1999. This was of Amadou Diallo, who was shot 41 times by New York police officers. Amadou immigrated from Guinea. When the race soldiers approached him, confronted him and killed him, they didn't know he was from Guinea. They just knew he was a Black guy. So they killed him. And then, which further supports my point, is where was the Guinea embassy, or the consulate, or the ambassador, or the president? Did they say anything? Did they challenge NYPD? Did they go in front of the UN to talk about how the NYPD murdered Amadou Diallo? Of course they didn't. Because again, what Africans have to realize is that when you come to America, you're now a Black American, or a Kata, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. As far as the eyes of races, you are now Black. You're no longer Ghanaian, you're no longer Senegalese, you're no longer from Guinea, or Sierra Leone, or South African, or Kenyan. You are now Black. Which I want to get into now, the shooting of, there was an Ugandan man. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. I just had it in front of me. This took place in LA not too long ago. Maybe a couple weeks ago. His name was Alfred. He was from Uganda. He was murdered by the police, unarmed. And both of these men were unarmed. Hold on, my bad. I'm pulling it up now. I can't pronounce his last name. Please forgive me. Here we go. Alfred Olongo. Alfred Olongo was an immigrant from Uganda. Unarmed, had mental issues. Who was murdered by the police. Usually when, unarmed non-Blacks, whites with mental issues that threaten the police and point guns at the police, they're not killed. They get to walk away arrested, and they get to live and fight another day. They get the proper treatment. But Alfred didn't. Which, again, further proves my point that when Africans come to this country, you're now Black American. The races don't see you any differently. And that's just how it is. And again, where's the outrage from the Ugandan government? Have you heard from the Ugandan government? Have they made a statement yet? Have the embassy and the consulate in Washington, D.C. and New York, have they said anything yet? Have they confronted the LAPD about it? Have they went to the union about it? Of course not. Because again, when Africans come to America, you are now Black Americans. Your country doesn't support you back home when you're over here. Yeah, you might have the embassy in D.C. or the consulate in D.C. or whatever city. But when something happens, they're not going to come and help you out at all. Because again, you're a Black American now. You're no longer Ugandan. You're no longer Senegalese or from Guinea. You are a Black American. Which further proves my point. And I want to get into this story real quick. About 2 years ago, there was an Indian man here in Alabama. Was walking down the street late at night. The Indian man was staying with his son in Alabama in a predominantly white neighborhood. They thought he was a black guy walking around being suspicious. So they called the police. Police came. The Indian man did not speak any type of English. So the police roughed him up, whooped his ass. Don't you know there was a ambassador, not from D.C., not from the consulate or whatever in D.C., an Indian ambassador flew from India to Alabama, spoke with the police department in the city where this took place, and that police officer was fired the next day. Look it up. Just look up Indian man police abuse in Alabama. An Indian consulate or ambassador, the Indian, flew from India, not from D.C., flew from India, came to Alabama, met with the sheriff or whoever of that police department, and that officer was fired the next day. No, hey, let's do our own investigation, or no police union got involved. He was fired the next day. When is a Ugandan or a Ghanaian or Ugandan or someone from Guinea going to fly over here to America, an ambassador or someone from the Ugandan government going to fly over from America from Uganda here to America and protest and fight and get police officers fired, the police officers who killed Alfred Olongo? It's not going to happen. So once again, Africans, when you immigrate into this country, you're now Black American. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. Follow me on social media. Search for Huru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Till next time, Dynasty Mir. I'm out.